basically new players together. So we're going to play some songs for you today, and you can take as many pictures as you like, but I ask that you not record anything, please. We're just starting together. This is our first time together, really. But what we're trying to do is put together a group that will play on the USS Constellation down in Baltimore Harbor. Has anybody been down there to see the big ship?
Yep.
The Constellation?
Yep,
Okay. Well, down there we would portray Marines. Okay. On the Constellation, the ship had one drummer and one fifer as part of the Marine Corps that was stationed on the ship. Of course, we want more than that because we have more players. But today we're wearing our Union infantry uniforms, so that's why we're dressed as infantry soldiers today and not Marines. But if you get a chance to come down to the Constellation, we're there the last Saturday of the month, April through October.
Wow.
And it's not just us playing. They have the whole Marine Guard is there. They have a contingent of sailors, and we just take over the ship for the day and do a day-long living history for the Constellation. So if you get a chance to come down there and see us, please do. We're a fife and drum corps, so we play fifes and drums. The fife is a simple 6-hole instrument. I don't know, are there any wind players here? Anybody play flute? What do you play? Clarinet. Anybody else? Sax, bugle, trumpet? Anything where you blow into it? Coke bottle? Well, as you may know from being a wind player, the hardest part about playing a wind instrument is what they call the embouchure. Those are the muscles around your mouth. And when the Civil War started, they had to train up hundreds, even thousands of musicians. And a lot of them weren't very good, and they came from different backgrounds. They had different instruments. So often what they used was this mouthpiece you see on here. It's called a cheater. See that? It's a little metal mouthpiece that put on the fife like that. And they call it a cheater because if you use this, you were cheating. And it kind of changes the tone of the instrument. Let me show you what it sounds like with the cheater. So it sounds kind of like a whistle, almost. And then with the fife, hear the difference? So this was used for training the soldiers, and this was used once they got up to speed, kind of like training drills. So most fifers don't use these. Some people still use them. They're convenient. They take a lot more air to blow into. But these guys here are playing rope tension drums. Daniel, you want to tell them a little bit about the rope tension drum and how that works?
The rope tension drum is, instead of the modern day drums that get tightened by the nuts, these you have to tighten the ears, which are these, to actually get the head to be tightened. So, in a sense, if it wasn't, it would either ruin the drum head or it would be very dirty. Now it sounds
Good.
the deeper the drum, obviously the deeper the sound, louder it is.
Joe, do you have anything to add for the?
No, I think he covered it all. That's
Okay,
great.
well, it's
As far as the drum goes, in the front of the drum you see the eagle. 1861 regulations for contract drums, because the Army had contracts out there. There were people making drums for the Army. There were people making fifes for the Army as well. So these were issued equipment to fifers and drummers. But as far as the eagle, you see that the regulations called for the eagle to be on a field of blue meant that this drum was to be issued to the infantry. If it was on a field of red, it would be issued to the artillery.
Gentlemen, can I say something just before you start? I'm a pastor, so I'd be remiss if I didn't. Sure. You know, we've had our men up here this weekend to take and talk about passing on the faith. May we be faithful in passing on our faith in Jesus Christ and to the next generation. And I'm looking at this young man standing there, and I'm so grateful that you men are helping him to grow in his love appreciation for the rich history of this country and to help preserve it. Young man, may we give you a special, I know we'll clap for Avi at the end, but may we applaud him because that is wonderful, young man.
Okay. So at the start of the war, Daniel here, he's 11 years of age. Now, a lot of people think of fifers and drummers being young boys. There were young boys, but U.S. Army regulations allowed the Army to enlist boys 12 years of age and older to learn to fife, drum, or bugle. If they could not play those instruments, they could not be assigned to other duties. So Daniel here, 11, he couldn't legally get into the Army, but there were boys as young as him and younger that did get into the Army and play musical instruments.
Such as John Clem.
Yep, little Johnny Clem.
John Clem from Ohio, yeah. Now, as far as our age, in Pennsylvania, when I've looked at the muster rolls, in Pennsylvania, the oldest musician was a gentleman by the name of James St. John Sr. In 1861, when the war broke out, he joined the 9th Pennsylvania for 3 years of service at the age of 61. And when he completed those three months of service, he joined the 97th Pennsylvania for 3 years of service and stayed with that unit until 1864 when he was discharged due to failing health and old age. The gentleman I portray, I'm with the 87th Pennsylvania. I portray a fifer who, in 1861, he joined the 87th Pennsylvania at the age of 51 and stayed with them for his 3 years of service. So the fifers and drummers aren't the young boys that a lot of us know. There are older gentlemen that are playing these instruments in the Army.
Wisconsin Greybeards.
Yes.
And one reason that they were older is because it takes longer to learn how to play an instrument. And because we could play instruments, we made $1 more a month than the regular soldiers. Now, $1 doesn't sound like a lot now, but back then they were making $13 a month. Okay, so we made $14 a month. And that's, we're going to show you now why we made that extra money.